Hi, and welcome back to Aussie Scar Modeler. Jace here, glad to have your company once again. Well, episode 7. A huge shout out first up to everybody. Hit the like and the subscribe button. Hit the bell notification if you want to know when the next episode comes up. I try to post every Sunday. From the bottom of my heart, thanks guys. You all know this channel is about promoting Australian modelers, Australian hobby shops, and the people that provide us with all the Australian made stuff we possibly can get our hands on, and some of the overseas stuff. Well, in this episode, we've got the interview with the one, the only Christopher Brown from HPM, that's High Plane Models. If you want to see more after the interview, go to hpmhobbies.com.au, put the link up there, it'll be in the description as well. Go and have a look. There's just some amazing stuff. It just blows your mind. Also, we're going to do the review of the High Performance Brake Set. That's right, from Outlaw Paints, little box set, High Performance Brakes. I'll give you a bit of a peek. Here we go. There they are, High Performance Brakes. So what we'll do is we'll hit the booth and I'll lay those down and we'll have a bit of a look at it and we'll see what you think. I can tell you, absolutely perfect in every way. Used them on a couple already. We'll also be using them on the Corvette, which we'll have a quick brief look at. So without further ado, I'll get to the booth, lay these down, we'll run the interview with Christopher Brown and I'll catch you in the end of that one. Cheers. Well, mate, good morning, Chris from HPM. How are you today?
I'm fantastic, Jason. Thanks for having me on the YouTube channel. I've been looking forward to this. It's going to be a lot of fun.
Mate, thank you so much. I know you've been super busy and, well, would you say locked down in the business?
That's definitely been the case. What a year it's been, hasn't it?
Oh, mate, it has been hard yards for a lot of people. And I believe you're down in Victoria there, so you guys have been copping it hard. Mate, just...
So, yeah, it's...
Yep.
Yeah, go ahead.
You're right, mate. You're right. Hey, mate, just wondering if you could tell everybody what your main hobby was, or is.
Okay. So the backstory there was... I'm a person with many interests, but High Plains HPM Hobbies is definitely the core business, which was rooted in the interest in aviation history and interest in modelling. The background there was that I'd grown up in Werribee as a kid back in the 1970s, which had two, or what you could almost technically count, 3 Air Force bases nearby. We had Laverton, which had a lot of action coming. We had Central Flying School at Point Cook. So every morning you'd see the Windjills back in those days doing whip stalls and loop-the-loops and all the rest of it as they were trying people. So growing up in that environment, it was kind of inevitable that you had an interest in aviation.
Yep.
So my main history interest came out of that, and of course in that generation as kids we made scale models.
Yeah, that was
so
it.
that was my key hobby as a young un. I would build the old Airfix and Frog and Rebel kits for 75 cents from the local shop, build thousands of them during the summer.
Yeah.
And then growing up, I think like most of us of our generation, we kind of stopped it when we were in our 20s or 30s, but then came back to the hobby at a later date. And suddenly there it was, and it was all so much richer with resin parts and with photo etch and all this great stuff.
Yeah.
So that was where I came back into it and started to combine that interest in aviation history, which I'd always had, back into the physical scale modelling. And, having it now as a business is a rather interesting experience, yeah.
As you would have seen in the last episode, talking to Wayne, it's like literally being a kid in a candy store if you own a hobby store.
To a degree it is. The one catch is when you work on the product development side as opposed to the retailing side. So with High Plains and HPM, our core thing is that we are producing kits, we're producing conversion sets and accessories and things. When you're dealing with that all day long, when you get home, you tend not to actually want to stick bits of plastic together and paint them, because you've been doing that on a screen all day long, or you've been doing the test fits. So to be brutally honest, I've probably got probably about 30 or 40 of our Mirage kits that have been assembled to various points to check the fit of parts, to check how decals have sat on them. But I have not finished a single one.
Wow. I feel sorry for you. It's like I'm looking at my stash going, I have not finished a single one. I've got the Endeavour up there just waiting to come and find Australia. But mate, I'll maybe take you back now. I found this the other day.
Yeah. In the second generation of the boxing. Yes, it's one of the very earliest.
Mate, it says $20. What's it worth?
Probably about $20 these days. The catch is, with that specific kit, of course, Airfix, I won't pull it out because I'm using it to keep my monitor up at the moment. Airfix has dropped their very nice Bristol Beaufort Mark 1 just this year.
Yep.
Which exceeds that kit in the level of details that are in it. And its accuracy is very good as well, so it's now a steel-tooled mainstream kit. It doesn't have the surface detail finesse that those limited run kits had.
Yep.
Because with the technology that was used to create those, it was much easier for us to get a really beautiful top surface. The inner surface was crude, as anyone who's built them knows. And they can turn into beautiful kits with a certain amount of work.
Yeah.
But as soon as someone brings out a traditionally steel-tooled one of them, then they all end up in the swap and sells.
Oh, absolutely. Hey, mate, now just a question. I've been around the web and everything. Do you have a physical store, or are you online only?
Okay, we have our warehouse and production facility up in Singapore. In our last place, we had as part of that was set aside as a physical store, and we had the products on display as a showroom there and would enter people in. The catch is that the actual retail traffic coming in there was minuscule. So as one of the things in the COVID world we decided to do was to trim down the size of the space that we're using, and the first thing that went was the physical store.
Yeah.
But having said that, if anyone is passing through, travel allowed, of course.
Yeah.
Anyone is passing through, we welcome them through, because we have. It's a bit like if anyone has been to Hannett's at Lowestoft. Their store there is basically just a warehouse with racks and things, and you walk through and pick the product directly off that. That's the sort of thing that we're now running, that if you want to have a look, you just go through those racks and take what you want. And of course, if we're out of something, we just assemble it from the components on the spot and away you go.
It's like having a multiple. Yeah. No, I'd like to change that. Yeah, okay, we'll grab that part. Yeah.
Yes, yeah.
Mate, how long has HPM been going here in Australia? And what's the main motto of HPM? What drives it?
Right. Right. So High Plains Models as a brand was established back in the 1990s by Steve Mandich and Greg Meigs. And Steve Mandich was at that time running Snowy Mountains Models, which was one of the earliest mail order models in Australia right back into the 80s. So they ran it from the late 80s through to 2011. And in 2011 was when I bought the assets from Steve and then relocated those up to Singapore, where I'm based now. So it's as a brand, High Plains has been going for a long time. It's up there with MPM now, Special Hobby, with Aero Club, with these niche brands that were the earliest cottage industry stuff. But now we've moved into traditional tooling, we've moved into high volume kits rather than the low volume stuff. And that's been running for about the last 10 years.
Mate, that is awesome. And the motto, what drives it? What's the company motto? What says, okay, we're...
Oh, absolutely. The thing that has always been the essence of High Plains has been the accuracy is number one. So even if we come back to that, the Bristol Beaufort Mark 1 you've got there, the only other kit that was around at the time that one was released was the Frog, which was in outline a good size, not much in the way of detail. But it did have a few issues with the way that it was presented. And the first thing that Steve and particularly Greg brought with them was this obsession with making sure that they had accuracy right. And we've kept that going all the way through, that whenever we're releasing something new, it's all about, we've got to make sure it's as well researched as we can get it. It will be the best in the outline that we can make. There's always compromises that you have to make with any production because you can't make the perfect kit. But we try to get there so that if somebody starts it, they know at least it's going to look correct. It's going to look like the right thing.
Yeah, mate. I've seen a few built. I've built a couple myself. You know, when you open the box, you're looking at what could possibly be. You know, you imagine exactly. The paint. You throw the primer down, up pop the rivets, up come your lines, and you know that as you're building, and it comes together, the finished product is quality.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah, that's what we're after.
And it's not.
And it's been an interesting learning curve for us going into steel tooling and metal tooling instead of the old limited run tooling, because the technical skill set that you need to develop from both the design side and from the tooling and creation side was a whole new ballgame for us. So it took about 2-3 years to get that new skill developed. And that's where we've got very happy with the stuff that's coming out now. I don't think there's been any product in the last 5 years or so which I haven't thought, oh, we could have made that better.
Well, I can tell you, having been around the block a few times in the industry, nobody I've ever heard said a bad thing about a kit. Not once has there been a bad word. This wasn't right, that wasn't right. Oh, it's crap. No, none of that. It was all, have a look at this. So that's a good thing. Mate, on the website I also noticed you have a lot of fingers and a lot of pies. Slot cars, RC planes.
Yeah, we've added some in there because that's partly because the distribution in Southeast Asia is not as mature as it is in Australia or as in Western Europe. So there's not a great deal of outlets where people can get these things. And one of the things that we were very early on the web 10 years ago with an accessible, easy-to-use store. So I'm a very good friends with the Southeast Asian distributor for the Hornby brands. So we brought some of those in, we brought some other products. Because inevitably there are people who, they will come because they want to see the High Plains models, but they also want to add on other things.
Yep.
And on a personal level, I enjoy a little bit of Scalextrics. I like tuning up a car. I like letting it have a bit of fun. It's fun.
I sent you an email on that. I still remember back in the 70s when Santa was running around and his mate, his little help had a few much too to drink in the old 4D size battery slot car set, and little Jason got up and there was no cars running on the track, but... Yeah.
Oh, yeah. The Aurora AFX, if you remember back to
Oh, yeah.
Total Control Racing.
TCR. And you know that old saying, listen to what your father says? Dad,
Yes.
my father was a radio tech in the Artaboyet in the Iroquois. And he said when the TCR brand came out, don't get them, because they had the night glow as well. He said, no, those stickers will stop it. And I said, well, I know better. I think I was 11. I know better. I'll have it for Christmas. Yeah, no.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's definitely one of those things. We were expanding into other areas about 4 years ago or 5 years ago, which for personal reasons and with COVID, we pulled back expansion to focus primarily on high plains models as being where we're releasing. But I still have parked in my mind a dream to do some things to do with slot car accessories. Yep. Particularly, for example, you look at most of the tracks that are put out for Formula One these days, they will have the water-filled plastic crash barriers around.
Mm-hmm.
But if you look at most tracks that people build, very few of them have actually got that sort of thing.
No, it's still the rails.
Yeah, it's still the rails. So there is opportunities to look into that whole area and say, okay, what else can we do that's a bit different? In the ways that static scale modelling has developed over the last 20 years. There's a lot more choice in there. Yeah. So that's something, after COVID, once the world stabilises again, we'll revisit all of these things.
Mate, and just wondering, is there anything or any special offers for the viewers if they go on to HPM?
Yes, we'll definitely put something up there. And as they say in it, if you look in the link below, we'll have the offer that's available. Mate,
thank you very, very much. And again, I know it's early there in mighty Victoria. It's cold. Thanks again for your time. And as I always say, mate, it's all good, and catch you later.
Yeah, it's a pleasure. And well done on the show. Our congratulations to it. And our thanks to all the listeners and supporters out there. Thanks.
Thanks, Chris. Wow. Chris, thank you very much for the interview, mate. You are a true gentleman, and thank you for what you do. And I'm so looking forward, and viewers, be on the lookout. Chris is sending me an awesome love package. They also deal in slot cars, and I've got a couple of love packages coming from hpmhobbies.com. Go and visit them. Fantastic. You can get just about anything you require for any sort of modelling, any sort of hobby. Go and see Chris, hpmhobbies.com. Also, Braden, Outlaw Paints, mate. You've done it again. Top shelf. Thanks for the love package. Those bright colours are absolutely fantastic. Also, folks, next week we'll be doing a bit more on the Corvette. And if I can get hold of him, he's just running through a bit of strife at the moment with a bit of illness in the family. We've got Russ from defensemodels.com.au. Go and check him out before it. And if you're looking for some great Aussie stuff, go and see Russ at Defence Models. Well, folks, we've come to the end of episode 7. Thanks again. Hit the like, hit the subscribe, hit the bell notification. This channel is all about you guys. That's all I do it for. So until then, as I always say, it's all good. Catch you later.